To solve an equation means to find the value of the variable, find the value of the variable, and I'm going to put in parentheses S because there may be more than one variable in an equation, so it might be variables that make the statement true. And ladies and gentlemen, in Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra, every class you take, you are going to solve so many equations. And it all is asking you to do the same thing, to find the values of the variable such that it makes it a true statement. Now we're going to rewrite the equation so that it makes it very easy to see that it's a true statement. But for now, we just have to understand how to solve equations. So since you guys got x equals 20, which is correct, when you are solving an equation, you can change the equation as long as whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do to the other side of the equal sign, it stays balanced. So it doesn't change the value of the equation. So I believe that what you all did was you said, okay, I'm going to add 6 to this side because you wanted to get x by itself. So if I added 6 to this side, negative 6 plus 6, these reduce and I'm just left with x. But since I added 6 to the left side of the equation, I must also add 6 to the right side of the equation. So on the right side of the equation, I got 20. Now, some of you are like, yeah, Richard, I can do this. This is really easy. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. But beyond just solving simple equations and regurgitating it and memorizing it, I really, really, really want you guys to understand what you're doing and why. Because the math itself isn't important. The understanding of what you're doing with it is so much more important because we're going to build on it and the process will not change. So now, looking at this original equation, and looking at your solution, ladies and gentlemen, these are the same equation. What value of x makes x equals 20 a true statement? 20. So what value will make this equation a true statement? 20. Why? Because they're the exact same equation. All we have done is rewritten the equation. Natalie, I'm going to give you this whole, I'm taping, hold on. Okay, so let's go to letter B, ladies and gentlemen. Solve that equation. Yeah, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So now x equals 6. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, 6 makes this equation true. And if you put 6 back in here for x, it makes that equation true. So we have found the value of the variable such that it makes it a true statement. Ta-da! Okay, what's next? Letter C. How are we going to solve letter C? Yeah, divide. We're going to divide both sides by 3. Now this will be good. How many of you knew, just put in yes or no, how many of you knew to divide both sides by 3? Yes, great. Yeah, you all knew that. Okay, now my next question is, why? Why can you just divide by 3? Why don't you divide by 12? Why don't you add 8? Why is it that you divide by 3? because 3 is being multiplied by x. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you multiply it by 3 and divide it by 3, it reduces. There, in the numerator and denominator, there is a common factor. And the common factor is 3. So, this 3 and this 3 in actuality reduce. If you have 3 x's and you divide it into 3 equal groups, how much is in each group? X. And if you do this side by 3, then you must do the right side by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Sweet. So, ladies and gentlemen, what in your solution, what would you like the coefficient of x to be in the solution? We don't write 1x equals 9 because it's understood that when we write this, there is only 1x. So we don't write 1 as the coefficient, but it is the coefficient. The object is to find the value of 1x or 1m. So we want to get the coefficient to be 1, if that makes sense to everyone. So let's take a look at letter D. We have 2/3 x equals 12. That means we have to take 2/3 of some number and end up with 12. So the question now becomes, how are you going to get 2/3 to be 1? Do you all know calculators? You can't. Les, that's great, but you don't know how to do 12 divided by 2/3, do you? By hand without a calculator? Giovanna, enlighten me. Multiply it by what? Oh, you're halfway there. Giovanna, this is good. Why do you want to multiply it by 3? You're not wrong. To get rid of it. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you a question now. Have you ever heard of the word reciprocal? Reciprocal. Have you guys heard of that word? Yes or no? Do you guys remember what it is? No. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the reciprocal, you can take the reciprocal of a fraction where you take the numerator and make it the denominator, and the denominator and make it the numerator. So, knowing that, what is the reciprocal of 4/5? Go ahead, type it in. You have 10 seconds. What is the reciprocal of 4/5? Okay, enter. Ladies and gentlemen, an equivalent fraction would be 8/10. An equivalent fraction is one that has the same value. A reciprocal is where you take the numerator and make it the denominator, and the denominator and make it the numerator. Got it? So try again. Everybody's got to type something in, please. And go ahead and hit enter so I know you were on my same page. Yeah, now it's 5/4. Okay, so now we know what a reciprocal is. Now, what happens when you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal? What do you get? You have 20 seconds, ready, go. What is the result? Enter. Nice. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this becomes how, if you remember how to multiply fractions, we just multiply the numerators. 4 times 5 is 20, and you multiply denominators, which is 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1. So anytime you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you will get 1. Okay? So let's go to 2/3 x equals 12. The object, the simple object of this, not the logic behind it, is to try to get the coefficient of x to be 1. So how are you going to get rid of the 2/3? How do you get 2/3 to be 1? Yeah, multiply it by its reciprocal, which is 3/2. So if we multiply this side by 3/2, we must also multiply this side by 3/2. Sweet, because 3/2 times 2/3 is 1. 1x is just x. Now we have 12 times 3/2. Now the question is, how are we going to deal with 12 times 3/2 without a calculator? So, once again, some bonus knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 12 times 3 divided by 2. Do the numerator and denominator have a common denominator? Excuse me. Do 12 and 2, 12 times 3 and 2 have a common factor in the numerator and denominator? Now, some people would say, look, Richards, couldn't I just multiply 12 times 3 and get 36 divided by 2, which reduces to 18? Yes, you can. Or the 2 and the 12 have a common factor of 2. If you reduced it, you get 1 and 6, and then 6 times 3 is 18. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that you understand it, you're going to get 18. And 2/3 times 18 is 12. So we have found the value that makes it a true statement. Whew. Okay, next part, ladies and gentlemen, solving two-step equations. When you are solving two-step equations, we're going to go in the opposite of the order of operations. That's why in the last chapter we learned how to take the order of operations. Now we're going to do the opposite of them whenever you're solving an equation that contains one variable. So we're going to start with addition and subtraction, then move to multiplication or division, etc., etc. So, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, 2x minus 5 equals 21. We have to do the addition and subtraction first. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. Now, negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so we're just left with 2x on the left. 21 plus 5 is 26. And now, just like we did in example C, we divide both sides by 2, and x equals 13. And if I put it back into the original equation, 2 times 13 minus 5, 2 times 13 is 26, 26 minus 5 is 21. It makes it a true statement. Therefore, we have solved it correctly. Okay, you guys have 45 seconds to solve letter B. Ready? Go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would subtract 5 first. 4x equals 24. Then we would divide by 4. X equals 6. Nice. Okay, what do you want to do first in letter C? Yeah, that's right. Add 12 to both sides. So now we get 3/5 x equals 33. Now what? Reciprocal. Yeah. Multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5/3. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you this. This is 33 times 5 divided by 3. The 3 and the 33 have a common factor of 3. So 33 divided by 3 is 11. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we end up with 11 times 5, which is 55. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, letter D. What would you like to do first? We have to get rid of the -5 and the 3 in order to solve this. What are we getting rid of first, the 3 or the -5? So, ladies and gentlemen, and we talked about this a little earlier, this sign not only means division, but it also is a grouping symbol. So although there are no parentheses written here, it is implied, because it's a fraction bar, that this is in parentheses, which means we would do that last. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, we would multiply both sides by 3. And since we're multiplying by 3 in the numerator and we have a 3 in the denominator, they have a common factor. The 3's would reduce. X minus 5 equals 33. And then, of course, we'd add the 5. So x equals 38. And again, if we plugged it back in, 38 minus 5 divided by 3, that's 33 divided by 3, which is in fact 11. Remember, we're going to do the opposite of the order of operations. Okay, your homework for tonight is numbers 1 through 8 on the homework sheet.